Welcome to the Application Express 5.1 video series. This getting started video is on building a proof of concept. Hello, my name's David Peake, Product Manager, Application Express. So in a previous getting started video, I built a couple of applications based on some scripts where I loaded in the tables, and another one where I built an application based on a spreadsheet. Let's say for sake of argument, you have some brand new requirements. So the first thing I would suggest you do is go into Packaged Apps and select Productivity, and you'll find this application called Quick SQL. And we're just going to install that application into our workspace. So a couple of clicks, wait for a short period, generally inside of a minute, and then the application is installed and ready to go. So I'm just going to run the application, and I need to log in. And the first time in, I just need to set up the access control, and that's fine, so I'll continue on. And this is where I can define some scripts and utilize those scripts to build out some tables complete with sample data that I can then go and build an Application Express application on top of. Let me click on Help up the top here to find out a bit more about this application called Quick SQL. So this application allows you to very quickly and easily generate table scripts. More importantly, it also allows me to build in some sample data. So for a proof of concept, it's perfect. So there's a number of different examples here, and I've had a look through them. The one I want to use is this restaurants one. So I'm just going to grab that and I'm going to copy it. And while I'm in here, I'm just going to have a look at some of the syntax here. Data types that you can specify. There's various things you can do when you're defining the tables, such as putting audit columns on. If you want to insert records, you can specify how many rows. You can do various things with the columns, for example, making them unique or putting check constraints on, etc. So let's go back to the application. So let's just paste in that restaurants example, and you'll see that I'm inserting 10 rows in here. It's got a name, locations, coordinates, street, etc. It's also got cuisine, price scale, stars. I'd also like to add in some extra columns in here. For example, the phone number, the website, and as I'm doing that, you'll see that it's actually adding things into my script here. So I can actually then take this script, I'll just copy it, and I can move it over. Before I do that, however, I'd like to go into the settings and change a few things. So in here, I can put a prefix on. So I'm going to call this one David POC for proof of concept. I don't need to worry about the schema. Primary keys, I can use the identity data types, or alternatively, I might use triggers because I might be running this into an 11G database when I'm done. Yes, I want audit columns, and I want a row key, and I want to include the drops so that I can rerun this script many times, because this is just my first go at this. When I have some more or better defined requirements, I can come back into this script, add new things in. It'll drop the existing tables and recreate them. I want to create the primary keys. Everything else looks about right, so I'll just save those changes. And you'll see that I've now got my tables are called David POC underscore restaurants, etc. And I have things like the ID columns in here, the row key, and all these audit columns have been added in for me. So now I'm ready to go. I'm just going to copy this script and put it into my clipboard here, and then I can go back into Application Express, go into SQL Workshop, and I'm just going to go to SQL Scripts, and I'll create a new script. And I'm going to call this one David POC, and then simply paste in that script, and I'll run it. And if I go back into the object browser now, then you'll see that I have a number of tables called David POC grades, David POC locations, and David POC restaurants. And if I have a look, then it's even got some data in these. And now I can start building an application very quickly and easily on top of these tables that have now been defined. So I just go into create an application, desktop application, call it restaurants. Okay, next. And I'll add a page. And I'm going to build a master detail. My master table is going to be restaurants. And then my child table will be locations. And I can add that in. And then create the application. Now that it's created, I can just run the application. And we can see that we've got some records in here. Now the data itself is not that important. What's important is that you can now start working with your end users to actually see what sort of information is important to them, whether you've missed things out. So now I have a starting point to sit down with my end users and talk to them about the application. They may not like the way this is laid out. I can easily create different pages for them, but I've now got at least some tables to work with. So let me go ahead and save this. So at any time I can go back to saved models and select any of the models that I've saved. And when I'm in here, in fact, I can see that I've got a typo on the value here for Thai. Also, I'll see I have a definition here of phone number, but over here, it's created a column called phone of type number. So I need to change that. So I'll just make it a varchar 30. And as soon as I jump off that column, you'll see that it's changed this script. So then I could save this, run it back into the database, and I'll have a much better column. Now let's say that I have brand new requirements. I can just start typing in. So for example, departments has a name, location, it has a manager, it has, employees related to that. An employee has an employee number. Employee also has a first name, last name, social security number, for example, date of birth, hire date, etc. And you can see that as I'm going in, it's identifying these, anything with date in as date columns. It's knows that name columns, for example, so it's only making them 255. Columns that it's not sure about, it'll make 4,000 long. But you can just keep typing, and then again, if you go back into syntax and examples here, you can look at the different data types that are available. So we can also put in integer or number if we want to specify them directly. We've got things like char or VC for varchar or string, so we could just type in string. And then on the tables again, we've got various things that we can utilize there. For example, if I want an audit on that specific table, I can just put /audit, or if I wanted history to be generated. And again, the column directives are very useful for being able to better define the columns that you want in your data model without having to go back after you've created the table and do so. So for example, I might have an upper on the last name. I might make sure that the social security number is unique. And that's as simple as going in here and just typing in unique on last name, I want upper, etc. And you'll see that in the trigger here for employees, that it's making the last name upper. And you'll also notice it's created a unique constraint on the social security number. So as you add more into it, it will keep updating the script and making it for better table definitions. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy using QuickSQL for building out your tables that you may need in a proof of concept or for any new development where tables have not yet been defined.